Good morning, everyone. This is Faraki AS from Sri Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj College of Engineering. The topic which I'm going to discuss today is array in Java. So, this is the content of my topic which I'm going to discuss today. So, starting from the point to an array is nothing but a group of like type a variable that are referred by common names. Basically, we use an array to store a data within it. Sometimes we usually call a array is nothing but a homogeneous set of data structures, because here when we speak about a storage of a data with respect to sequence, we prefer an array. For example, here a boxes are being put up here from 0 to 6, which specifically says that it is an indexing number. The scores which I am putting up is 50, 12, 45, 78 are nothing but the data which I am going to put on it. And n minus 1 is nothing but the total number of boxes minus 1. So if I'm speaking about if there are 7 number of boxes, then the indexing will be from 0 to 6, because n minus 1 is equal to 6 when I'm considering n equal to 7. So an array can be of any type, because when we speak about an integer, we can have an integer value here. When we speak about a float, when we have a float values here. So more specifically, we say that there you can also store an alphabet here also. Depends on which sort of data structures you are using to store a data within an array. So basically, coming to the part of the 2D arrays. Now usually when we speak about a basic array, that was a 1D array, in one dimensional array we used to store data in a homogeneous and that too in a sequential pattern. When we speak about a sequence, a sequence is nothing but you are just putting a number which is not arranged, because more specifically we deal with the indexing of a number but not with the exact value of a number which you are storing into an array. So coming to the part of a two-dimensional array, that is my 2D array. Usually when we speak about when we have to store n number of datas with an infinity of a storage with respect to the indexing from the row and a column, we go for a two-dimensional array, because the word two-dimensional specifically says that two means what? The first one is the row and the second one is the column. So here a chart is being provided to you in terms of row and column. When we specifically write a chart 3 and 2, it specifically gives you a number 354. Now here what happens is you went for a row number 3 and a column number 2, and with respect to you got a number which is 354 store at that location. So what happens here when we speak about a number, or when we speak about the data which is a more sort of data, at that time when we have to check the data by a uniqueness, by its redundant uniqueness, or we have to check its consistency of storing it, at that time we go for a two-dimensional array. Now more specifically here, the two-dimensional array is what? There are n number of data are there, but you have to search the data by its uniqueness. When we speak about a uniqueness means what? You have to get an accurate data rather than getting an approximate value. So to get an accurate data, we have to check it by an indexing. So here indexing is what? Again, when my indexing is here is nothing but 3 and 2, but through the indexing I have gone for the third row and the second column. With respect to this indexing number, I got an accurate value which was stored at that particular location or at that particular address. So more specifically is the two-dimensional array. Now when we speak about the need of a two-dimensional array, when we say that the data storage is more than that of the one-dimensional array, and we expect a consistency from the same specific data, at that time we prefer for a two-dimensional array. But to be more accurate, we go for a two-dimensional, just because here the complexity of a time taken to search a specific number by that one as compared to one-dimensional array is more. Because what happens here when we speak about a one-dimensional array is what? You are storing a data in a one dimension, mean in a sequence. To check or to search that specific number in a one-dimensional array, the time taken to calculate that specific value or to read that specific value is more, because here the checking of one-dimensional array is being done in a sequential format and there is no other format for it. But when we speak about a two-dimensional array, you can verify it, you can cross verify it, or you can check it by putting or by passing a two parameters, the first parameter of row and the second parameter of your column. That is why we prefer a two-dimensional array when the data set is more than that of a one-dimensional array. Now coming to the part of an array. An array is nothing but a particular, we call it an array, that a homogeneous set of data is being stored in a specific boxes. Usually that homogeneous is nothing but a sequence which is being identified by a indexing number, not by a value which we are passing it. Because more precisely, we always concentrate on the indexing number rather than that of a data number. Because what happens here, the indexing is nothing but is being put up so that to check the sequencing, whereas the data which we put on into a blocks are a random data, which we never put a data in such a format that after putting a random data it may convert into a descending. That is not true. So here descending on or an ascending, that is not true. That is why what happens, a sequence is being maintained by a indexing, and whatever data which we are storing is a random data. Secondly, we have a confusion about it, that if we store a data in a random also, is it going to arrange itself by a descending or ascending order? It is not true. It is not going to get arranged, just because here he is not interested about what sort of ascending or descending value you are storing. He is interested about what sequencing you have maintained to store a data into an array. So for example, if it gives you a score in a bracket 2, he is going to read a index number 2, not the number which is stored at the second position, but it is going to check it by a position defined by an indexing called 2. Because here you are more precisely speaking about a value which is 2. Now what happens here, even though by a indexing it is 2, but by a sequence it is 3. So for this part we call it that we have used a counter here, that is nothing but an integer counters. So with respect to that set, you call it by an integer counters here. Now declaring an array. Now basically what happens in one dimensional array, we define an array by a type. Say call example, type is there, it may be an integer, it may be a float, it may be a character. When we speak about an integer, it may be any value. When we speak about a float, we speak about a specific mathematical values. When we speak about a character deals with about the alphabet sets of English letters. But here array is nothing but which sort of array I am defining, and a name which is going to give me an identification of that array. For more specifically, when I am writing an integer score, I know int is I am using it, but score, when I am considering a score, it is nothing but the actual number which I am going to consider. But when I need to consider a new array for the integer score, then I have to define it as an integer score, and then again new integer, and the in bracket 10. 10 is nothing but the size of array which I am going to use to store the data. And here what happens, when we define an array, we usually prefer for a logical statements. Logical statement means what? We always go for the integer, or we always define a counters here, because a counter is nothing but a set of variable which defines you the incrementation and the decrementation of a value within an array. So if I am speaking about increment, it gives me that the size of an array is going to increase as far as my size of my defined array is concerned. And if I doesn't define a size of an array, then it is going to increment, it is going to go in an increment phase unless and until user doesn't stops it. And for a decrement also, we use it decrement just to shrink that array. Now declaring an array. Now what happens in declaring an array? In what way and in what phase, or what is the style of defining and declaring an array here? If I write an int, bracket, square bracket and number, will work. If I write integer numbers and bracket, it is also going to work. Double means what? It is going to check with respect to I and j's columns. Boolean, Boolean is what? Actually a flag count is here being used. Boolean means what? Basically we have two Boolean values here, 0 and 1. If I say that it is a 0 and 1, means what? I am defining a flag count value by 0 and 1 itself. So even if I am using a 0, it is going to give me a somewhat of an answer, and even if I am using 1, it is going to give me some of a particular answer. For example, when we use a flag, now it is a very big question here. Whenever we speak about the searching of an element, when we have to search an element within a defined array or within a defined set of an array, we go for a flag count, because if you are searching a value here, my flag value is going to be 1 if I found that specific number in my searched array. But if it doesn't found, then my flag is going to give me a value which is 0. So here I may consider that if my flag count is equal to 1, I may say that the element is present, and if my flag count is 0, then I may say that the element is not present here. Again, int number 1, number 2, number 3, then it depends upon what sort of declaration I am defining into an array. Is it a primary declaration, is it a secondary declaration, or is it a tertiary declaration within the data structures defined into my array? Now initialization. Initialization gives you an idea about how you define it. More specifically, when you have to create an array, we have to initialize. Initialization is nothing but you are giving an idea to the system, specifying that how that array can be used, in what way that array has to define. Because what happens, initialization is the only primary term which has to be defined by a user while coding it. Because what happens here, if you fail to define the size of an array, then we are unable to store some specific values within that array. For example, if I define just an integer, but I'm not defining any size of an array here, then it's not going to store any data here, because I have not defined any size of an array, any structure of an array, and any data which I'm going to store into an array, which may be an integer data, which may be a float data, or which may be a character data. So more specifically, saying that by using an initialization, I am just defining how my array is going to look like, what my array is going to work like, how my array can be used, when my array can be produced, and if I'm using an array, to what extent I have to use that array, if I'm speaking about the one-dimensional arrays here. More specifically, for example, I have defined here integer and in units, and numbers have been put up here: 147, 323, 89, 99, 33, 540, and etc. What I am doing is I have just defined an integer. I'm specifying that there is a units, and I don't know what units are there, but I have defined a number which represents a unit as itself in an array. That array which represents a unit. When I write a character, and I'm defining a box here, and again my character is what? I'm defining a character by using an array. But with it, I am also defining a here is nothing but the alphabet sets. Now when I'm writing a character means what? My character sets is being defined with respect to the English alphabets from A to Z. So if I write a character 5, then I know there in my in my array 5 different data sets may be there, or it may be same data sets also. It is least interested about whether the data set is same or not, but it is more interested about whether the same size of an array is being written or not. Now when an initializer list is used, now when you have to use it, the new operator is not used, then the no value size is not specified. At that time we have to go for it. The size of an array is determined by a number of its item in the initializer list. An initializer list can only be used only in the array declaration. It's true, because see, if we have to speak about the size of an array, we usually check the size by defining an array, because when we put data here, we are least interested about what data we are storing, but we are more interested about what sort of data with respect to what size are being stored here. Accessing an array means what? How you are using it. Basically, when we speak about accessing is also called as a traversing of an array also, because traversing is what? You can give an access only once when you're using that specific array, is my traversing. And accessing is what? There are two types of accessing. I may go for a traversing of an array, that is nothing but I'm accessing in one array for only once, and I may go for a non-traversing of an array, because here in non-traversing I may use an array size, or I may use an array data n number of times whenever it is needed at the time of searching or at the time of storing also. So this is a keen interest about how you are accessing it and where you are accessing it. So usually when we start the indexing of an array, we start usually by 0, assuming that initialization value needs to start from a 0, where my counter count is going to start from a 0 itself. That is why we define an integer I equal to 0, or for I equal to 0. Now processing an array means what? Often when we use a for loop here, now what happens here is when you are defining an array, how you are going to implement it as a part of an array here. For example, when I use a for loop here, now for loop here is used only to cross verify whether the array condition which I am defining within my logic satisfies it or not. That is why I am using a for loop while declaring an array. Because what happens here is when we define an array, say for example for loop is there, then for loop, if I'm writing I equal to 0, I is less of equal to 6, and I plus plus, means what, I have started my initialization from a for loop, assuming that when I'm getting an array or when I'm starting a functions of implementing a data on an array, I consider that initially it is 0. See, more precisely, when we get a memory or when we call a memory for an array to store a data, that memory from where I'm getting a data, it may be static or it may be a dynamic. It is not yet defined by an ANSI here. But when we get some sort of memories defined for an array, we need to assume it that the initialization counter starts from 0. We have to, because even though for a system it may not be 0, but for defining a specific value to an array, we assume to have a 0 here. We assume, because there are many proofs here specifically saying that if you are going for a static memory, how it must be 0. It is not a 0 every time. Why it is not 0? Because when we speak about the static part of a declarations here, static part never starts from 0, but we assume it that whatever value I am getting in terms of an array, I assume it to be have equal to 0. I have to assume it. Then I define a range. Range here is means what, to what number, to what size it has to extend, or it is extended to what number. So when I write I is less or equal to 6, means what, till 6 it is going to have it, but after 6 it is not going to take it. Means here if I'm writing from I equal to 0, I is equal to 1 2 3 4 5, but for 6 it will give an access, but it is not going to write a data here, because it is less or equal to, it must be less or equal to. But if sometimes you are taking an equal to value, by a priority your less symbol works has a higher priority than that of equal to. So that is why we stop our increment counter at 6, and we say that the data is being stored here for an array size of 6 which has an indexing 0 to 5. But total number which you are storing it is a 6, because even though you are storing a data 6, you start from indexing 0. So 0 is there, 0 1 2 3 4 5 and 6. So total data which you are storing is 6, but by indexing you are storing from 0 to 6, but sorry, 0 to 5. So here when I am considering this as a part of it, now here if I am considering here system.out and println by in a Java, see what I am doing is 0 1 2 3 4 5 6 6 is there. Okay, till here I am fixed. When I am fixed till here, what I am doing is a number is there 50 12 45 78 66 100 and 125. Here all the numbers, all the data which I am putting, all the scores which I am putting here, the data which I am putting here is not in an ascending order, neither it is in a descending order, but it is in a random order. But what more important here is that the indexing which I am using here is more important. It is working in a sequential patterns here. So this is an example. When I define an example, now here if I start, now here previously, see what we have did is we have started from a 0 because my I was equal to 0. For loop I is equal to 0, which is mentioned in a red color in my code. So when I started from a 0, the score showed me that the accessing of a number will be started from a 0 itself. But after incrementing it, it went to I equal to 1. Now when I'm saying it I equal to 1, then it must be less or equal to 6. It must be less or equal to 6 only. And I plus plus means what? Again my score is equal to 1, and I have accessed the data which is equal to 12, and so on. Now when after accessing 12 as a data for indexing numbers 1, now if I try to store another data, then my for value is going to be equal to 2. I is equal to less or equal to 6 and I plus plus. When I store the second data at the second index number, then my increment is going to will be increased by 1, and again my I will be equal to 3, then 4, then 5, then 6. But after 6 it is going to calculate a value whether it is less or equal to 6. If I consider a seventh number, my seventh number is not less or equal to 6, that is why my increment counter is going to stop, and henceforth I may not be able to store any data after my sixth indexing number. So this is an array which we have used here. Usually people say about an array is an homogeneous data set of structure. Yes, it is a homogeneous. Some of the people say it is a primitive data set. It is a primitive data set because we have to first declare it, then you have to use it. Some of the people say that the array is a static part of a data structure. Yes, it is a static part of a data structure because you have to define it first. You have to define its size, you have to define its the character which you are using, or which you are defining it for an array. For example, if I write capital A and in a bracket 10, I know it is an array of a size 10. Means my bracket specifically says me what is the size, or the size defined to my specific array is being defined in my square boxes here. So in this way we have completed a part of an array, how an array works in a Java language. The concept of an array is same as for my C language, C++, and Java here. So thank you. This was the end of the arrays which we use in an Java languages. Thank you so much.